Hi, welcome to the fourth episode of The Scream, an art podcast where me, James, and my always serving co-host
Hi.
examine and discuss the lives and works of influential/inspiring artists because we want to, and definitely not because we need to complete a CAS project.
I don't even know what CAS is. Anyway, today we'll be talking about Yoshitomo Nara. Always apologizing for my pronunciation. A Japanese artist whose work spans across mediums and depicts children in a range of emotional states, from resistance and rebellion to contemplation and solitude. His signature style serves as a celebration of freedom that comes with individuality and imagination, and has made him a pioneering figure in contemporary art.
Born in 1959 in Aomori Prefecture, which is located at the tip of Honshu, Japan, which is Japan's main island, Nara's initial artistic influences as a child are attributed to the Western music he heard playing over an American military radio station. He grew up in a time when an influx of Western pop culture was entering Japan, including comic books, Disney, and rock music. Raised in the isolated countryside in a working-class family, Nara was often left alone as a child with little to do but to explore his imagination. And thus the boldly independent subjects which appear in his work may be a reaction to his own largely independent childhood.
In the 80s, Nara would go on to undertake his bachelor's and master's degree in fine art in Japan before completing further studies in Dusseldorf, Germany in 1994. Nara made his first splash in the art world during Japan's pop art movement in the 1990s, working across sculpture, painting, and drawing. His seemingly simple, innocent depictions of children with pastel hues are deceiving, as they're sometimes shown with weapons such as knives accusatory looks in their eyes. Whether they communicate mere irritation or darker, unbridled hate is unknown.
I love this so much. What's even greater is that Nara doesn't view his subjects as aggressors by any means, saying, quote, "Look at them. Their weapons are so small, like toys. Do you think they could fight with those? I don't think so. Rather, I kind of see the children among other, bigger bad people all around them who are holding bigger knives." Despite bearing a resemblance to the imagery of manga and anime, Nara has never claimed to be influenced by these forms of media, although it's continually cited in discussions of his large-eyed, stylized figures. However, Nara definitely subverts any challenges to his influences through the aforementioned confusingly disturbing imagery of the weapons and accusing glares.
Sticking to the discussion on these stares, it is of note that they don't always manifest in the same manner across Nara's works. The figure in his deeper, more detailed canvas painting, such as the one I'm looking at now, titled "Through the Break in the Rain," which was painted in 2020, maintains a powerful gaze with the viewer, which, despite exhibiting some of the same previously mentioned animosity, carries an air of maturity and almost boredom in contrast to the vigor of his simpler works. These paintings are steeped with painting theory, as color has been repeatedly layered and erased from the canvas, leaving only the most earnest parts which cannot be removed. Again, touching on the contrast between Nara's works, his simpler drawings are completely detached from any such art theory, as he uses familiar materials such as used envelopes or torn paper to bear his emotions. I love the breadth that he demonstrates in his work, despite maintaining the same subject as he crosses between these two very different styles. It's important to not forget Nara's sculptural works, though, which are absolutely massive. I'm going to focus on one piece titled "Miss Forest," made in 2020. At 25 feet and 7 inches tall, the sculpture depicts an oversized bust of his recognizable girl motif with a mound of clay atop of her head in the shape of a pine tree. The work was made after the Tohoku earthquake and subsequent Fukushima nuclear disaster in 2011, which deeply affected Nara, as his home of Aomori Prefecture borders Fukushima. Through the work, he found catharsis and creative inspiration in the mental and physical process of hand-molding clay, which is really sweet.
So true. I'd like to briefly talk about a Japanese postmodernist art grouping which Nara has become associated with in the early 2000s. Called Superflat, notable artists linked to the movement grouping, whatever you want to call it, include Takashi Murakami and Shiho Aoshima. Their work all bears similarities for their use of bright colours, patterns, and motifs akin to Japanese cartoons, which poses a commentary on the country's hypermarketed and hyper-consumerist culture, which was becoming increasingly mistrusted by Japanese youth at the time. In addition to this, Nara's work occasionally features short phrases of text within the composition, often seemingly random, but in some cases political, with messages such as, and similar to, "Stop the bombs," "Fuck you war," or "This machine kills fascists." Despite this, Nara denies his work contains overtly political or cultural messages, saying, "In my case, it's not about the country or the people or categories. I'm just trying to express individual things, so for people keen to understand things on that level, my work will probably resonate." Basically, my approach is that it doesn't matter if there is an audience out there. Even if I knew there would be no one out there to look at my work, I would still make the exact same thing. Make of that what you will. From what I've gathered, these cultural and political references are actually tied to Nara's own memories and experiences, so maybe it's less so about what is actually being depicted and more about his personal association with these phrases or ideas.
Yeah. Anyhow, Nara's bizarre yet intriguing works are lauded by critics and have gained him a cult following, with his larger original paintings regularly selling for millions of dollars. He's had around 40 solo exhibitions throughout his career thus far and has seen a surge in popularity amongst young people in recent years, although that isn't to deny his sustained success.
In the beginning of 2022, I had the opportunity to see a solo exhibition of Nara's work at the Pace Gallery in London. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. It was great, and it contained work from all the mediums he works in. Really, it's just so amazing to see an artist so in tune with himself and his work, which, despite being repetitive in subject, never fails to captivate. This has been a look at Yoshitomo Nara. Thanks for listening, and tune in next time.
Bye, divas!